Evening all, welcome back to our wonderful build in Space Engineers. Now, I'm going to warn you now, all I'm doing for the most of this video is just welding, bit of mining, but mostly welding. But let's talk about Space Engineers. It is, it is a game that I think is just going to be one of these ones that I think people will misunderstand. Let me explain that. A lot of people will look at Space Engineers and maybe they'll see, I don't know, maybe they'll see the building of buildings and they'll just think, like StarMade, for example. If you don't know what StarMade is, StarMade was a very similar game, but it was quite misunderstood as well. I think it was an unfortunate game because it did seem to, I guess, get slightly misunderstood. And I think Space Engineers is one of these games that is developing and looking and shaping up to be potentially, you know, a real kind of long-term, community-driven, map-driven game. So, you know, I'm quite excited about it myself, actually. I think, you know, there could well be, you know, PvP. Well, I think there's going to be PvP. And I think there's certainly going to be kind of that aggressiveness that's going to be quite awesome. So we'll see how it develops. But I think, you know, if you're tempted with this game, I think it's currently a tenner. I could be wrong, and maybe it's a bit more, but I think it's 10 to 15 pounds. That's like $20 to $25, maybe a bit less. And I think you're probably going to get your money's worth from it. I mean, I bought this game on a bit of a punt, and I have not regretted it for 1 minute, because to me this is a game. This is the kind of game that I need to play. Because when I play Dust and when I play Timefall, when I play anything kind of shooty PvP-y, I generally get quite irate. Let's say it's frustrating at times to play games like this, because they can rather like the PvP games, because they can become phenomenally draining. Post in the comments if you know what I mean. I find sometimes, you know, you just think to yourself, God almighty, how annoying is this game getting? And you're just sat there thinking, am I really enjoying this? Dust is a good example of this, because there's a lot of people in it who try very hard to win, if you know what I'm saying there. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but sometimes you just think to yourself, oh man, it's a game, chill out bro, Jesus. And sometimes you need a game that just engages a different part of your brain, okay? And I think games like Space Engineers, they do that. They have a real ability to, I guess, calm you down, but also lift you up as well. That sounded like a song lyric from kind of like a Sade song. Remember Sade? No, nor do I, but I just remember the name for some reason. But I think, you know, games like this as well, they do reward team play, but it's, again, a lot of PvP games, or rather a lot of games, multiplayer games, generally just tend to put you against someone else, and that's fine. That's life. That's real, you know, visceral life. But it's nice to have a game like Minecraft where the real natural default position is to work together, and I think this game is exactly that. I mean, the things that Nano and I have built playing this game have been enjoyable like hell. It's been, you know, just a joy to play. So I think certainly games like this have a place, and I would recommend games like this for just cleansing your palate, having a quieter kind of gaming experience, and just building something wonderful. It really is that feeling. And you know, Minecraft and et al. Are all train sets effectively, and that's all they are. But same with this game. It's just a train set. I'm building that ship to, you know, to A, have fun, but to B, impress you and others. And that's the incredible thing about these games, is they are there to try and, I don't know, build a creative thing from them. Do you know what I mean? And I think they're definitely worth doing. Anyway, so I think it's going quite well. I mean, again, the assembly piece is getting a bit draining, because to build something this big is taking an awful lot of plates. Now, that's not a problem, because I knew that it would. But I would say that in the space of about, what you're seeing here is the space of about 5 hours worth of work. It's taken me 5 hours to get to this point here. But that was asking about building a mining ship. That was also asking about building another refinery that I probably really didn't need, and so on. So I think perhaps it was, you know, I could have got a lot further on if I didn't waste my time in some of these silly, frivolous tasks. If you do play the game, then I would recommend the first thing you do is build a mining buggy. And you can probably just set it to have 2 or 1 mining prong. 2 is probably better. And just set them up to mine stuff, you know, mine asteroids, and just go and get as many materials as you can. I think that is probably the best place to start. Don't bother building a second refinery and assembler like I did, because I've not really gained any benefit from doing it. at all. In fact, I think it was a complete complete waste of time. So we'll look at that, but look at this as we come into our frame. Look at this, it's getting nice, it's building. I always dreamt that one day, particularly in Eve, I would be able to build a Titan like you see here. I always dreamt that this would be something that you could maybe do. And I don't know, maybe this is to me the part of the games that I enjoy building stuff like Minecraft. I enjoy building the castle or the structure that you live in. I always enjoyed that. When this came out, obviously the creative mode, I loved building ships. I loved building something that I could then, in quote, live in. And I think this is all I'm trying to do on this game as well, is to build a map where I can actually build a ship that I can live in and roll around stars, picking up women. I'm joking. But, just enjoying the game from a ship rather than a base. I don't like bases, if that makes sense. So, this is kind of the premise here, but maybe I didn't realize my energy suit is very low. I'm probably going to be risking it. But as you can see, it just becomes a real labor of love. And again, too few games have anything in them that you become infatuated with, or completely over your head over heels in love with. And Dust does this quite well, because Dust obviously has people who love tanks, dropships, a particular suit, and that is what I think draws them back, is that desire to perfect it. So creating perfection is something that drives many of us, and that is an interesting thing. And so many games don't have this. So Titanfall, Battlefield 4 and others, these are games that you pick up and play and drop, but there's nothing in there that really perfects anything. Yes, you could perfect a fit, yes, you could perfect a skill, but it's not as tangible as a ship, and it's not as tangible as a tank in Dust, or a dropship in Dust. It's not quite the same, because you need, I don't know, maybe slightly similar, but it doesn't feel as worthy and weighty and as of the same merit, if you see what I mean. So as we continue our build, it's just me welding. It's welding over and over, but it is good fun, I must admit. And as we turn these into proper plates now the beauty is you don't actually need to you drop all of the parts you need into a brick to begin with, and then it'll stop. So I know that at that point I've run out. But anything I've started, I just need to finish off by just hovering the welding torch over it, and eventually it will build. So bear that in mind. But as you can see, it's coming on. It's looking good. And this is the starter ship. I don't know if you've seen this. I don't know if you've played the game at all. But this is the starter ship that you begin with when you die. Rather, this is the spawn ship you end up in. And I flew it to the platform. It's powered down at the moment, but I was seriously tempted to actually cut this thing up and use it as salvage in my new ship. But I decided, as I look with my angle grinder with glee, I kind of realized that actually it's probably risky to destroy a perfectly working ship. Do you know what I mean? Because if something happened, at least I've got a backup. And that's the way I'm going to treat this ship, is I'm not going to rip anything from it. But I do have quite a lot of parts from it, as you can see. It's a bit ghetto. It doesn't look great, does it? But it's still got quite a lot of parts in it. So one of the things you can do in this game is not only can you obviously make components, you can also refine components back to their basic constituent components, and you do that by the disassembling piece. Now I probably won't show that because it's phenomenally boring, but what in essence you do, you go to disassembling and you just drop your bits in, blah blah blah, and it just gives you the raw materials out. So that is always a good thing to do. You don't end up getting stuck with certain things, which is quite good. I need obviously to power this thing, and I've just realized it's got no power. So uranium is mother, uranium is father. If you run out of uranium, you're dead, and that's really something to bear in mind. So as you can see here, uranium is a very small product. It's very small, but it does obviously tick down. So bear that in mind, because it's obviously something that really is needing to be done. Now, as you can see, I'm just getting completely infatuated with this. I've got to keep welding, must keep welding, must keep welding. But I've got to admit, this is just incredible fun. On a Sunday afternoon, nice glass of beer on my side, a few treats like crisps or something like that, or chips, as you would say, and just sitting there and just chilling out with a nice song album on, just sat there. Oh, it's great. Really was. Loved it. Can't tell you how relaxing this was. So I would urge you, if you're looking for a game that just relaxes you, just you can do on your own, you can do with a group of people, either way. I think this is a game for you because it is so relaxing. I can't describe it. So as we carry on building, we just edited out the little bit where we got all of our materials. So we've got a few more plates. As you can see, that's going well. There's a lot of materials that I've had to get rid of, like stone and that you just don't need. But eventually they despawn, so that'll be good. And my mining barge is a bit ghetto, so I think maybe in the next one we'll have a look at that because it is a bit, well, it's very ghetto. But I think what we're going to probably end up doing is just continuing to look at really building our illustrious thing. As you can see, I'm trying to work out how to get this assembler to work as well. You see, I basically lined it up wrong. I should have turned around the refinery before I built it. You see, it's on the wrong way round, which just sucks. It's like massive issue. I wish I could turn it. Post in the comments if you know how I can turn that assembler around. I suspect I probably can't, which is annoying as hell. So now a few more plates. Let's carry on welding. Yes, so much to weld, but I don't mind because it's enjoyable. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the squad in. I'm going to get the dudes in to come help me with this because I think having a good group of people helping me weld this would be incredibly good. Plus, it'll look pretty awesome as well. So I think we're going to get that going. Maybe in the next one, we'll see, bro, we'll see. But I just think it's a game that takes you by surprise, and I think if you're interested in these kind of things, I would urge you to to give it a go. Check out maybe the series from the start. You'll see maybe the development of this game. We only really started Survival 2 videos ago. And I think when you see what you actually are capable of doing within the game, it is just incredible. It really is. And I think I'm really curious to see what people come up with in this game as well. But given the fact that it is so freeform and open, and you can build anything, and I think now that you can properly build it, like as in properly, you can build these things. I think it's just going to make for some incredible videos, incredible community stuff, and I think it's going to be quite fun indeed. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.